Hello everyone, welcome back to the homestead. Today we're going to go ahead and do a Q&A video. Thank you so much to all of those who left comments under our community post about this video. And if you did not get that community post and weren't able to leave a question, remember to make sure that you hit the subscribe button and notification button so that in the future you get those notifications when they come out. So we've got quite a few questions to go through today. We're going to try and answer as many as we can. Various people are going to answer them. Some of the questions we could probably write a whole book on. For the sake of time, we're going to try and keep the answers pretty short and simple today. Again, thank you so much to those who left questions for us, and here we go.
Alright, so the first question is from Sarah. What advice would you give families just starting out in the off-grid homesteading lifestyle? Is there anything you would do differently? What was the biggest shock when you did start? My family and I enjoy watching your videos. So some advice would be to start small. Don't try to do too much all at once. It can really get you spread out and just can be more overwhelming. I really want to focus on zone 1 and really getting that set up. And if you don't know what zone 1 is, that would be just like your house and the area right around your house. Just getting that set up and functioning well, and then expanding slowly from there. And you also probably want to do animals last, so definitely don't have that top priority. You might be able to have like a small flock of chickens, and if you do have like a small flock of chickens towards the start, probably if you have it near a garden edge, that way you can throw, you know, garden scraps in there really easily. But if you do that, you're definitely going to want to make sure your fencing is nice and tall, or have a cover, or both. But one of the biggest shocks for us was how much time and effort things took when you're not on grid or have a big enough solar system to have all the modern conveniences. A lot of things take a lot longer and just more things to think about. My mom will tell you something that she wishes we could have done differently.
That would be have enough power to be able to have a stand-up refrigerator. Even just a small fridge freezer standing unit would be so helpful. We use a little chest freezer and then an old broken chest freezer that works as a cold box. And it just takes a lot of time to rotate ice blocks and things back and forth between the two units. Make sure we have enough power to power the freezer. Oftentimes we'll have to use our little solar generators or the gas generator, especially in the winter time when we don't have a lot of sun. So it just takes a whole lot of thought, and every day having to go out and do certain things to make sure everything's staying as cold as it needs to be. So having enough power for a little stand-up fridge freezer combo would be amazing.
Alright, next questions are from Carrie. Do you take the kids to the public library? Do you take the girls shopping at the grocery store? I would love to see a video of how you budget your grocery shopping, weekly, monthly. Do you ever wish you put in city water/septic? Do you ever plan vacations away from the homestead besides your 2-week religious fellowship? Will the greenhouse get finished this summer? I have so many questions and video ideas, LOL. But this is a start. Blessings.
Alright, no, we do not go to the public library. I'm really thankful that years ago when we first started homeschooling, we invested little by little in our own family library. So we have plenty of books. We also will sometimes borrow books from friends, so we don't really need to go to the library. And then also there's the internet as well, so for research and things, there's that's available. So no, we enjoy our home library and sharing books with others, and that's just how we do it. Keeps it simple. And Caleb just reminded me actually that the nearest library for us is a half an hour away, so that's an hour round trip, which would just be a lot of extra time that we don't need to be using. We have taken the girls shopping before at grocery stores. It's not something they particularly enjoy, or I enjoy, so in order to do something enjoyable, we would choose something different. And I'm also blessed that my husband does a lot of shopping for me just on his way home from work, which is super helpful. I do a lot of grocery shopping online through Azure Standard and Vitacost. So yeah, we like to do a little bit different things than go shopping. As far as a video on how I budget for shopping and all of that, don't do a whole lot of budgeting, really, because there's so many variables that are changing throughout the seasons. When you homestead and you have your own food coming in, the needs for your food are very different throughout the year. So I kind of just go with the flow, kind of pay attention to what's coming in off the homestead and use as much as I can from the gardens and things like that. We're getting into canning a lot, so yeah, I don't know if I could do a video because I don't have a set budget. Maybe I could eventually do a video just kind of showing what things we typically get from places like Azure Standard and Vitacost. So I'll think about doing something like that. All right, city water and septic. No, I am very thankful we don't have city water. We are super blessed to have wonderful rainwater catchment. We have a freshwater spring that we can drink from, and we have a deep well that's solar powered. So we've got plenty of wonderful water without having to use city water. That's a huge blessing. And then a septic, no, I'm very thankful actually that we don't have a septic. We had a terrible septic issue when we lived in Alaska, and it was a huge stressor in our lives. So doing the composting toilet is very simple. We've got lots of strong young men that help with taking care of that. We've got a really good system going for that now. We're really thankful for the water and sewage systems that we have right now. As far as vacations go, a lot of people have different ideas of what a vacation actually is. We really prefer to just do things close to home and just take a day out. So we love to go to creeks together. There's a beautiful botanical gardens in Springfield that we've gone to. We've been to lakes together. But in general, we don't take lengthy vacations far away. We just have so much going on here on the homestead, and we prefer to be home. At this point in our lives, that's what we do for vacations. Maybe eventually we'll venture out further and longer, but for now we really just enjoy the day trips as a family. As far as the greenhouse goes, it's our hope that it will get finished this summer, but there are a lot of different projects going on, especially with our boys starting to get their plots going, and the gardens are very bountiful, keeping us super busy right now, so we'll see. I don't know, but it'd be wonderful if the greenhouse does get finished this summer.
He Reigns asks, what advice would you give for finding like-minded fellowship? What does your fellowship look like? Do you meet with others weekly or monthly, etc.? One thing I'd say you could do is just kind of watching YouTube. Bigger fellowships, they'll often post videos on YouTube. So if you find a channel of a fellowship that happens to be relatively close to you, that could be somewhere you go to be able to meet people. You could end up starting a fellowship with them. Or if the fellowship's close enough to you, a bigger one, then you could just stay there. Of course, just keep seeking the Father for the fellowship, and He'll bring somebody. So keep your eyes open and watch and wait for Father's provision. And a little while ago, there were people putting out fellowship finders, like online. You could put in your area and kind of figure out where some people were. But at least one of them, they had some trouble with people misusing the fellowship finder. So you could try that way, but if you do, probably just be careful when you do it. And as far as how our fellowship looks, we have some brothers and sisters near us, so we just kind of try to meet weekly, house to house, for like Shabbats and stuff like that. We'll also go to some bigger gatherings now and then, and just throughout the week, when we can, we get opportunities to, we just love to fellowship with our brothers and sisters.
Yeah, doing music practice times.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Different homestead projects like digging potatoes.
Yes. And the next question is from Caroline. Do you have AC? If not, how do you deal with the heat? Thank you. So, no, we do not have AC. As far as how we deal with it, well, it's just really good for your mental insanity. I mean, well, no. All kidding aside, one of the big things we do is we'll open the windows so it cools down the house, and then in the morning we'll close all the windows to help keep the cool in during the day. And we'll also run fans inside, and people really like going to the creek and being able to play in the water from the hose from the well.
Yep, and sometimes you just have to find some shade and drink something nice and cool like cold pressed tea.
Yep. The next question is from Allie. Hi Carrie, what are some meals that are go-tos in the summer when you don't want to heat your house up to cook dinner? or any meal?
Well, Ali, I don't really have a good answer to this question because I don't have a cook stove that I use through the summer inside. We shut that one down for the summer. It's a wood cook stove. So I use a propane stove that's out on our patio, and it doesn't heat up the house at all, so that's really a blessing. But I guess you could try doing things like salads. A lot of times I'll make extra meat and then we'll have leftover meat for the next day, so extra chicken, extra taco meat, that kind of thing. And if you're able to mix up a salad and add the meat to it, that could be a really quick, easy meal that wouldn't heat up the house. If you're able to boil eggs in the morning when it's cooler, then you could do something with boiled eggs later, like egg salad sandwiches. There's always tuna sandwiches if you like tuna. Pasta is another thing that you could make the pasta in the morning when it's a little bit cooler, chill it, and then make a cold pasta later in the day when it's really hot out. So anyway, sorry I don't have a whole lot to give you on that one. Yeah, so maybe some other people could chime in the comments down below and give Ali some ideas for some nice cool summer meals that wouldn't heat up the house. That'd be great.
Alright, so Linda asks, do the girls have friends outside the home? And do you ever take the children on little days out and such?
Yes, we have friends outside the home that we love spending time with. Yes, we do day trips. My mom already mentioned that before. Recently we went to a music event called Hebrew Fest, and one of our favorite day trips during the summer is going to the creek with our friends.
Carla asks, do you have tornadoes in your area? If so, do you have a radio to alert you of emergencies? Also, are you concerned about flooding near your home? Do you have emergency plans? Love your channel and thanks for all you do. Yes, we do have tornadoes in our general area, although we haven't had one really close to us since we've been here. So that's been a blessing. Praise y'all for that. And as far as a radio for emergencies, we don't have any radios set up for emergency alerts, but we do have cell service now in our area, so our phones will give emergency alerts. We're not really that concerned about our creek flooding too high, because every year, a few times a year, it will get higher than it normally is for sure, but it's never gotten dangerously high for us. And I guess as far as flooding goes, we do have hills we could always go to higher ground with, so
Yep.
not really too much of a concern.
Yeah. This is a very hilly area, lots of hills and valleys, and it gets flooded regularly every year. So it's just kind of, our area is used to floods.
Yeah, so the creeks drain really well.
Yep, the creeks do drain really well.
Thank you for caring for us, Carla. Sign Thunberg asks, I would love to know if you have looked into milling your own grain and the benefits of it.
Really good question. Yes, I have looked into the benefits of milling your own grain. It's definitely always best to have fresh food. any of the things that we eat, the fresher the better. Less chance of them going rancid and those nutrients declining. So in the past I have ground my own grain using different grain mills. Right now we have a hand grain mill from Grain Maker is the company. It is not set up though. We have not been doing a lot of gluten over the past few years for health reasons. So now we are doing sourdough einkorn, but not very often. It's not often enough for me to go through the process of getting that set up and doing that. So we just buy flour at this point, and eventually once we're doing more of our own flour, then we'll probably set that machine up and get it going again. It's a pretty big unit and it has to be attached to like a countertop or something, and so it's going to be a little bit of effort to figure out a spot for that, but it's something that we would like to do so that in the future when we start doing more sourdough einkorn, hopefully we'll be able to grind our own grain again. So thanks for asking, very good question.
Mark says, Shalom. Question, what company do you purchase seed packets from? Would love to see a seed haul with all the varieties that work well for you.
All right, this is a good question. I've actually used probably a couple dozen different seed companies over the last 10 years. There are just a lot of really good companies out there. Two of my favorites, just for personal preference, are Baker Creek and So Right Seeds, and that's because they're local, they're here in Missouri, and then I really like the way they do their seed packets. They've got beautiful pictures on the seed packets and a lot of great growing information on them, and I really appreciate that in a seed packet. But I also really like Berlin Seed Company. Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, Renee's Garden. Sometimes when I need just a really specialty variety, I go to Johnny Seed. True Leaf Market's really good. Urban Farmer. And Territorial Seed Company also has some unique varieties that I'm often looking for. I have done a seed haul video in the past, but I think it's been a few years, so that would be a fun thing to do. Maybe come this fall, once I get some seeds coming in, I'll think about doing a seed haul video and highlight some of the tried and true varieties for our growing zone and for Missouri here.
So Rebecca asked, how would you prepare your children for the, in quotes, real world? I ask because I could use some advice myself.
So this answer kind of depends on how you would define the real world, I guess. But Caleb, how would you say we've prepared you for the real world?
I'd say the first thing is a right relationship with our Heavenly Father and knowledge of His Son and the work He's done for us, how He calls us to follow after Him, to do as He did, and to obey Him as our Master. No matter where we go in this world, that's the most important thing. Our parents, in that, teaching us how to follow after Yeshua, our Messiah, it builds good character within us and teaches how to have good character. So the two greatest commands is to love Yah and to love your neighbors yourself. So if you're loving others as yourself, that really does prepare you for being able to have relationships with others, being able to have a job and be trusted and to even have favor in that job. And our Heavenly Father is kind enough to define what love is in His Word. Because as we see in this world, there's lots of definitions of what love is. So here's some of the examples of what He defines as love being. Alright, the next question is from Luar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. How would you reach the heart of a child that is rebellious or strong-willed?
Okay, so before I answer that question, I should answer the question that some of you are having about who is this guy or where has this guy been? So my name's Kip, Carrie's husband, and I have been running a construction company or getting a construction company going. So it's quite the job. So that's really the main thing that I'm doing right now is starting a construction company. So that's where I've been. Okay, so for reaching the heart of a child, regardless of what stage they're in, really, honestly, there's a few things that you have to do. You have to be consistent. You have to learn their love language. You have to be consistent in discipline. That's a big deal. They need to know that your words matter. So when you say something, you have to do it. When you tell them there's going to be discipline and here's the line you draw, you have to hold that line. You have to be consistent. They need to be able to trust you and believe your words. And you have to learn their love language. So if their love language is touch, let's just say, if you want to spend time with them and you want to make a sacrifice and show them that you love them, you're going to spend time with them in a way where you have opportunity to hug them often, right? To high five them, to do stuff like that. Don't spend time with them doing something that you love and they don't love. Right? Do something with them that they love. So learn their love language. Then when you make that sacrifice of giving your time, it will be fruitful. Right? You will be reaching their heart. Because that is the goal. You have to reach the heart of a child. They have to know that they know that they know that they know that you love them. And when you win their hearts, That's the war. And once you win the war, all the other things are battles. But you have to win the war, and you have to win their hearts.
And Rebecca says again, oh, one more. What are your top 3 favorite tomato varieties to grow?
That is not an easy question to answer. I would say for canning, Amish paste is probably number 1. And runner-up for that one would be Martina's Roma. For slicing and fresh eating, Amano is really good. We really like Amano. Runner-up would probably be pink brandywine for that category. And for cherry tomatoes, I really can't decide. It's either black cherry or sunrise bumblebee. We really like both of those. And then if I could pick a 4th, I would choose celebrity. Just all around. It's not as productive as some of the other ones, but it's a really just solid performer for us, and you can use it for slicing or canning, either one.
All right, we have a question from Danica. Hopefully you're pronouncing that right. What types of shampoo do you use on your hair? I am 60 and notice my hair is starting to thin, and I was just wanting to know what suggestions you might have that's all natural / organic. And thanks. She also asks, and vitamins, herbs, or suggestions you might have. And again, thanks.
So currently we're using Burt's Bees Baby Shampoo and Wash Sensitive. I figure if it's gentle enough for a baby, it's probably gentle enough for us as well, and the whole family uses it. So I've just kind of always leaned toward using a organic, sensitive baby variety of shampoo. It seems to work well. And as you know, I am not a doctor. So as far as recommendations for herbs and supplements and things like that, possibly there could be a thyroid issue going on. A lot of people have low thyroid these days from stress and things like that. So something that might be helpful is organic kelp. Selenium is good for the thyroid as well. And something that could be added to this shampoo to help with your hair is something like a really high quality organic essential oil of rosemary or peppermint or both. Could just put a few drops into this shampoo and that could help as well.
All right, so we have He Reigns again, and a question. I'd love to know also if you have a severe storm / tornado shelter specifically. We don't have a basement, and this is something we are trying to figure out. We have a root cellar, which can also double as a storm shelter if need be. So that could be a good option for you since you don't have a basement, as a good storm shelter. It can also be used for storing food.
Yep, dual purpose.
That way, if you get hungry during the tornado, you can have a snack. We have a question from Lisa. Do your family speak any other languages? And are you, in quotes, full American, or do you have ancestors from another country? Much love from Germany.
Thanks for the question, Lisa. None of us speak any other languages fluently, but I can speak in double speed. Here's an example. Yesterday I went to play some basketball with my friends, and I ended up slamming into somebody and hurt my leg. When I got home, it still got hurt, but this morning it's okay.
If you understood what Nathan just said, let us know in the comments below.
And we do not have any other relatives or any relatives from other nations, but I do like to play around with the English and Irish accents. Righto, hope you have an amazing day. Thanks for watching.
So a question from 90? Do your children ever refuse to eat the food that you cook? And how do you deal with that? I have a very picky 8-year-old, and I'm interested in how you manage food preferences. Lots of love from one tired mama in England.
Oh, I am sorry to hear you're tired. I hope you get some good rest. Picky eaters can be a challenge. I think it's typical for every child to have something that they're picky about. So it is normal to not like maybe a few different items. But if your child is super picky and doesn't like a whole lot of things, there's some things that you could try. One would be not to let the child have snacks. I know that can be really challenging, but it seems like snacks are often things that the child likes and they can fill up on those and then just not be hungry at mealtime. So if you hold off on the snacks, then maybe they'll be more hungry at mealtime. Another thing I like to do is encourage them to just try at least 2 bites of whatever it is they don't like. Even if they've tried it the day before and it's served again, try again, 2 bites, because you never know how your taste buds might change. So if they can get those 2 bites down, then they're good. And you could maybe reward them with a little bit more of the thing that they really enjoy if they're willing to make an effort and try the thing they don't like. And sometimes if they've tried and tried day after day and they just really don't like something, I don't make them keep eating that thing. And I just try and make sure that they get a balanced diet. So like for example, our son Caleb cannot stand fish. He does not do fish. And so we have meat sticks on hand that he can have when we have meals with fish. That way he still gets his protein. Our son Nathan can't stand celery, so I just pretty much don't put celery in things. Sometimes we'll have celery on the side and people can dip it in ranch or have some peanut butter with it, and he'll just have another veggie. And if certain fruits or veggies are the issue, maybe veggies are the biggest issue, I don't know what your child's picky about, but sometimes just having something to dip in can help and can make it more enjoyable for the child to eat whatever it is they don't particularly enjoy. And taste buds do change. Sometimes when children are fed something a lot of sugar or a lot of processed foods, they get used to that taste. And if you slowly take those things away from them, their taste buds will change and they'll start to like things that they didn't used to like. So it may just have to be a little bit of a slow process to get there, but keep trying and I hope you get some good rest.
And Caroline asks, do you believe the Bible is literally God's Word and therefore inerrant, infallible, all-sufficient? If so, could you please explain why you do or how you can believe so? Thank you. So yes, we believe the Bible 100%. It is the most tested and scrutinized piece of history there is. And in the Gospels, the story of Yeshua even validates prophecies from what people call the Old Testament. And again, the Gospels are part of history. So history is validating even prophecies spoken of in the Bible. So if you believe other historical texts to be true, for example, like Alexander the Great, then the Bible's been tested more and proven even more than those historical records. So it would make just logical sense to believe the Bible even more than that. And as a quick note, we do know that the Bible translated in English as we have it today is not always 100% accurate to the documents they found, just from people translating it, having bias, or just not knowing exactly what to put where, or a little bit of missing information, as there is with all historical documents. But as a whole, we do believe the whole Bible 100% and the documents and what is written on them. The internet, it's much easier nowadays to be able to do your own study and even be able to look at the original manuscripts and documents yourself to be able to try to better understand what was written and how it all goes together.
We have a bunch of noisy little critters in the background here. They are not supposed to be in the garden. This is their favorite place to pass through like 50 times a day. She has 11 of them. Shoo shoo. Woo-hoo. Out you go. Shoo shoo. Shoo shoo. There she goes. Her chicks are getting too big to go through the fence now, so it's becoming a problem. Get him, Caleb. Get him. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us for this Q&A. As always, thank you so much to our patrons who make these videos possible. We appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours. And whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.